Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chu and today we're going to be going over one of the techniques that I use to make my beats sound more interesting, and it's my hope that you can implement this technique into your workflow and in turn make more interesting beats for yourself. I really think this is a valuable thing for producers to know in general, maybe not this specific technique, but just a desire to make their beats more interesting without overcomplicating them. It's really important to hook artists in, especially during those first 10 seconds. You don't want them to skip your beat, and if they don't skip the beat and keep listening because it is interesting, then you have that much of a higher chance of getting that placement, getting that beat sale, or any other measure of success that producers use. So without too much more talking, I just want to let you know that you can grab my free 14 drum kit in the first link in the description below. It's got drum sounds from all my placements and all my viral beats. You can grab that for free in the first link in the description below. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed the tutorial or if you just like hearing me talk for a few minutes. And make sure to smack that subscribe button if it's still red so I can buzz away in your pocket the next time I have some fire new content for you. Follow me on Instagram, join my Discord, and without further ado, let's get into the cook-up. Peace.
We are going to open a new instance of Patcher. Now, one thing you'll notice when you open Patcher and you try to play your beat is that you won't get any noise, is because once you open Patcher, it's going to require that you start importing VSTs into the interface in order to get audio again. So since nothing's linked, you won't be getting any audio. You'll have to link the audio like this. In order to get any sound. And then in between this, there will be VSTs that you'll end up linking together in order to kind of chain effects together. So the first effect we're gonna add is Reverb, and that's gonna kind of be our base effect. So you can see how it automatically links it right there. And then you get a nice reverb effect. So we're gonna adjust the settings just a little bit here. We're gonna keep the dry at right about where it is. We're gonna take the wet all the way up, and we're gonna bring this early reflection level just a little bit low, like maybe 40%, I'd say. 39, 40 is pretty good. Next, we're gonna turn the decay all the way down. We're gonna leave the damp and the crossover the way it is, leave the speed alone, leave the diffusion alone, leave the size alone, and then we're gonna turn the high cut all the way up. And then you'll see we'll get this effect now. On the entire beat. Now that's honestly pretty cool if that's all you want, and then you can mess with the room size a little bit to get like a bit of a different effect. I'll kind of show you what that'll do. So I actually like that. I like that. So that's cool. If honestly, if you wanted to leave it like that, you could, but I like to have a little bit more control over everything that's happening. So I add a few more effects in as well. So the next effect that I'll add is a fruity stereo enhancer. So I'll go ahead and add that in right now. There we go. And then I'll take this, I'll drag this link and link it so that that's the next effect. And then I'll just link that to the end. And then I won't really mess with this too much. I'll turn the phase offset just a little bit to the right to kind of add a bit of more like of an effect to make it seem like it's in a different room, and then that'll be just about it. And you can see the way that affects the sound. It just adjusts the phase a little bit, and it's another way to kind of add like a more interesting effect on that intro reverb. To kind of make it sound like it's like coming from like underwater, or like make it seem like it's coming from like the inside of a car, or like the inside of a room or the bathroom or something like that. So the next effect that I end up adding is a fruity filter, and this just allows us to control those frequencies a little bit more, so we can make it sound even more like it's the volume is coming from behind a closed door, or coming from like submerged underwater or something like that. So let's add another plugin. We'll just right click. The way you do that, I don't know if I already said that, you just right click, you go to add plugin, and then you'll automatically have access to every, you know, VST plugin that you have in FL Studio, and you can import it right into Patcher. So let's look for fruity filter right here. So again, we'll just unlink this, because if you just import it, it's not linked, so it's not going to do anything. You have to link it in and then link that to the end. Then we can open this up. And here, I like to turn the high pass up all the way. Then turn this 2x on. And then turn the low pass all the way down. So that sounds kind of weird, right? But then we adjust the cutoff frequency. And that gives us even more control over like the effects, over the frequencies. So I like this right here. So my main reasoning behind doing this is because I don't like reverbing the lowest frequencies that much, and I don't like keeping in the effects that the stereo enhancer has on the low end. So I like bringing in this filter because it kind of just cleans all that up and keeps it really tight, which is what I was saying earlier. You could leave the reverb in, but if you want to have the most control, I like implementing this patcher preset because it just gives you so much control and it makes the sound so much cleaner. Like here it is if you didn't, you know, link it. Cool, but you know, it's subtle, but it's so much more of a vibe with that filter, and it just sounds so much cleaner and so much tighter. So the last effect that I bring in is just a limiter, and I mean, I'm sure you could guess why. It's just to control volume, because the thing that happens when you add all these effects in is that you'll kind of reduce the volume a lot of like that section of the beat. And if you don't want that, which I like everything to sound level, even though, you know, it's gonna sound like there's reverb and there's some frequencies that are being like deducted from this section of the beat wherever you decide to implement this effect, I still want the volume to be comparable to the rest of the beat. I don't want one part of the beat to sound very quiet and then one part to sound very loud. It's also very like shocking to the listener to go from like quiet to super loud beat as soon as this effect turns off. So we control that simply by using this, really the gain switch. I'll turn the ceiling all the way up just so that it's not clipping anything, and then I'll just mess with this gain knob. So the way I like to play this is basically just seeing where the beat is hitting without the patcher effect. Okay, so I see that it's hitting at 3, about -3, -2.9. So what I'm gonna do is turn this on and then level that. I might have to reduce it or I might have to increase it. It always just depends on like what's going on with the beat and all the sounds that are in the beat. So let's go ahead and adjust that. So we have to lower it. Perfect. So then we can be sure that our volume won't be affected. So the last thing we want to do is just create an automation with this effect so that it turns off as soon as the intro is done, which will make your beat sound way more interesting. So the way we're going to do that is we're just going to right click this knob next to the patcher preset, come all the way down here and click create automation clip. Then we're going to go into our playlist and go to wherever it laid that down. It'll usually lay down your automation in the next available track that has nothing in it. So this track had nothing in it, so it laid it down right there. So we'll make this a little bit bigger so that we can work in it. We'll just make this whole thing bigger. So that's easy. We'll just right click right here to create a new automation point. Then we'll right click again to create another automation point. So when it's all the way up like this, it's gonna play the effect fully. And when it's all the way down like this, there will be no effect. So we'll go to the end of this because we don't want the effect anywhere else. Boom. So the only place that it will play is during this first part of the beat, or during the first 8 bars of the beat. And actually I messed up, so we're just gonna drag that over. Boom. First 8 bars of the beat. And actually, I might bring in some drums just so you guys can really hear what's going on. So yeah, that is how you create that, you know, coming from the bathroom, submerged underwater kind of reverb effect on your beats. You could just use the reverb. Like, I was watching a tutorial from God, what is his name? I'm blank. Tree Time, where he does this effect, which is actually, I learned it from his beats. I took me a long time to make it, and I finally figured out how to make it on my own. But I finally watched when he started making tutorials that he just uses reverb. He doesn't use a patcher effect or anything like that. And you could do that, but for some reason, I wasn't able to get the control, the type of control that I wanted, so I began making this patcher preset. And if you're familiar with what I've been doing on my channel, this actually is on sale. You can get the whole preset from my Room's master preset toolkit for like, I don't know, like $10 or something. But so many people have asked about it, and I actually do believe that it's one of the most valuable things to be able to create interesting beats, because you want to be able to hook the listener right away. So just combined with the fact that so many people were asking for it, and then also the fact that, like, I really do believe that every producer should find creative ways to make their beats as interesting as possible without being like overly complicated. I just wanted to show you guys how you could do it. This is literally the exact same preset you would get if you bought that kit. So, you know, there's no real need to buy it. It comes with like a drum kit and some other like melody preset, mixer presets and stuff like that, but you really don't need it if the reason you want it is to do this effect. You can literally just follow this tutorial, and that's exactly how I make the preset. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys want, because I mean, I'm sure if you listen to my beats, you know that I have a bunch of like I think they're interesting ways to make your beat sound more interesting. I've got a bunch of different techniques. If you want to know them, if you want to see me keep making tutorials like this, just, you know, drop a like and drop a comment saying you want to see more tutorials like this, and I would love to. But other than that, thank you so much for coming by to watch this shorter video. I'm going to have some more bangers this week, so definitely stay tuned. Smack that like button if you enjoyed watching me, you know, show you this, or if you just enjoyed listening to me talk for a few minutes. And be sure to smack that subscribe button if it's still red, so I can let you know the next time I have some fire new content for you. Thank you so much for coming by. Like, I really appreciate y'all. All the love y'all have been showing lately is actually insane. Like, the growth we've experienced on this channel over the last month or so is like, it's crazy. And then you guys are helping to bring a lot of people over to the channel too. So like, thank you so much, you know, like, thank you. Have an amazing, blessed day. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Peace.